A teaser trailer dropped for Star Wars 9, and I'll briefly go through and give my thoughts on whatever is there. I hated The Last Jedi, and from what little we see here I'm probably going to hate this one too. Although then again, I'm largely past hate. I only feel a kind of tedious obligation to see the final movie at this point. I talked it over with some friends, but I haven't seen anyone else's reactions to this trailer yet, so it's only going to be derived from my feelings and things I've been told while discussing it. Let's have a brief rundown of the scenes we are shown. Rey in the desert. Jumping the tie is now the new jumping the shark. Then you have a shot of a mountainous planet with a ship going towards some kind of city. Then Kylo Ren strikes a warrior who appears resistant to his lightsaber. Probably some kind of armour that has cortosis weave or something like that. But it is strange, as the warrior also appears to be wielding some kind of primitive club, even though he has such armour. Or I'm just assuming that's the case. Next we see that Kylo's helmet is being fixed. Whoopee. Finn and Poe Dameron in a desert that looks like the one where Kirk fought the Gorn in Star Trek. There's BB-8 next to another droid. Lando Calrissian flying the Millennium Falcon with Chewbacca through hyperspace, which the previous new movies have established is a pretty broken ability, and if you get the calculations right you can actually do it in an atmosphere. Whatever. Then we have Finn, Poe and C-3PO escaping in some kind of rickety hovercraft thing while stormtroopers chase them on speeder bikes. We briefly see a ship going down in flames. Then we see someone holding a medal, and a friend of mine pointed out that this is actually one of the medals Han and Luke received in A New Hope. It's presumably Han's medal. Then we see Leia hugging Rey. She's still alive in universe, but given Carrie Fisher is now dead, it's possible her role will be greatly minimised from what it would have been. Then we have the gang looking from the coast at a huge quarter section of the Death Star shell, which is somehow still intact. And then finally we fade to black as Luke tells us that no one is ever really gone, and we hear the evil laughter of Sheev Palpatine. And then we find out the movie is called Rise of Skywalker. The Rise of Skywalker probably doesn't refer to Luke. He's going to appear as a Force ghost, I'm sure, and in the trailer he gives Rey some handy advice telling her that it's her fight now. The next option is that it represents Kylo Ren, aka Ben Solo, turning to the light side of the Force. Kylo Ren's mother is Leia, so that means he's part of the Skywalker bloodline through his mother being Luke's sister, although it's weird since he doesn't have the name. The other option after that is that Rey will turn out to be a Skywalker all along. Although Rey was told she was nothing by Kylo in the last movie, he was quite possibly full of shit and just trying to manipulate her. Another notable thing in this teaser is that we see the wreckage of the Death Star in the ocean. I think this is fucking stupid, as the Death Star clearly blew into itty-bitty pieces. For there to be a huge portion of its shell left just sitting in the ocean is ridiculous. What does that have to do with the Return of Sheev, which is what this movie really should have been titled? He can't have survived falling into the reactor core. He's not just chilling out in the wreckage of the Death Star waiting to say boo. I wonder if they aren't going with an expanded universe plotline where Palpatine had a clone made. I hate this entire idea, but that would be the only sensible version of this terrible idea. The whole Death Star wreckage thing is, I'm told, part of concept art for Force Awakens. Maybe they're just scraping the bottom of the barrel. There isn't much else to say about this, except that my first guess is that Kylo returns to the light side of the Force somehow, and my second guess is that Rey turns out to be a Skywalker, and we see her perhaps returning to Jakku, which is presumably the desert planet shown here. Perhaps her parents finally return, I don't know. Leia probably gives Rey Han's medal either way. It all looks really vague, and I know that's the way of a teaser, but there's nothing in particular being teased here that I could get excited about. The only way this could be entertaining is if it completely jumps the TIE Fighter and has Ghost Luke fighting Ghost Sheev. Goes so ridiculous that it wraps back around to being entertaining. The Last Jedi was completely boring, so the next logical step is to get the first so bad it's good Star Wars movie, just turn it into schlock. If it's going to suck anyway, could it at least do that? Now, when it comes time for this movie to hit screens, I will be fair, and although I'll be going in with not just low expectations, but none whatsoever, I'm going to take it as it is, and if we somehow get something genuinely good out of this, then I will admit that. That's all.